there is something really special about some of the side characters in this third arc in Andor, and I want to talk about a few of them in particular. One of them is the leader of the Ghorman Front, played by actor Richard Sammel. He's a German actor, and the Ghorman language itself is this constructed language, which means it's not a real language, but it is based on French phonetics. So already that's something that's very cool. Whenever they're speaking in Ghorman, they're actually speaking, a fake language, but they're able to speak it with such wonderful emotionality in how they're speaking. And it really comes across as genuine that I wondered, is this really French, or is this some French dialect that is just a little more obscure and doesn't just sound like regular French? Because it definitely sounded like French. And again, that was part of the whole symbolism of the French Revolution and the sort of artisanal craftsmen that are part of that second wave of the revolutionary movement as it spreads from the working class to the artisanal class. But there was something special about this actor and his performance. And there's one scene in particular where Cyril grabs him out of the crowd where he's trying to stop the Ghorman protesters from marching into the square. This would be episode 8, and it's going to be a massacre. The desperation in his voice is translated so well, and I want to use this word translated because this is something that I noticed. Maybe it just hits for me very personally because I noticed this in my daily life, because I have lived and worked in different countries around the world, and I've worked and lived with a lot of people who speak English as a second language. And in the Star Wars universe, they're using English as the main Star Wars language, and in this case the Ghorman would be their primary language for the Ghormans, and English would be their actual secondary language. And the way that this German actor speaks his lines captures something that I notice in real second language speakers of English in real life. And that is something that's kind of hard to describe, but I'm going to try to do my best. There is something in the way that they choose their words and the way that they pronounce their words that reveals the underlying emotions with even more intensity when they are trying to search for the right words, or when they are trying to speak it and it comes across with an accent, or it comes across with slightly different pacing between the words that you would hear from a native speaker. And there's something about this in real life that bleeds out their true emotions even heavier than if they got the sentence correct. Or not correct, but just the accent and the pacing correct. Or native-like, fluent like a native speaker. It just sounds more raw. It sounds like the emotion flows through it more raw. And that's something I've always noticed with English as second language speakers. Sometimes the emotion that they're conveying is so much more intense because of the translation and because of the differences in how they're presenting themselves. They sort of don't mask it. And maybe it's because they have to lean more on their emotionality in the presentation to get the message across. And that is something that is done so perfectly with this German actor. So this German actor's English is incredibly good, but this German actor is honestly doing this ridiculously incredible job because he is speaking Ghorman, a constructed French-based language that's fake, as if that's his native tongue, and that is coming across beautifully. And then he's speaking English as if that is the, standard Star Wars galaxy second language. Now, German probably is his real first language, and English being a second or third or whatever, non-native, non-first language for him in real life. So he's doing this wonderfully, but there's that scene in the alley where Cyril pulls him out of the crowd marching when he's trying to stop them. And the words that he says, he's saying to Cyril, how can you even say these words? And are you mad? His performance is so raw, and there's something so beautifully recognizable for me seeing the way he's speaking standard Star Wars Galaxy English, as a second language speaker, Ghorman, it comes across. The way he speaks the English there is different than the way Cyril does, right? There's a pacing slight difference. There's an emphasis slight difference, and there is an accent. And with those things, one might think that the true intention or emotion behind the words gets clouded and, covered up and, lost in translation. And that can occur, of course. But there is this thing that I see that it gets amplified in this strange way. And it is incredible, like major kudos to this guy's acting talent to get that across while speaking none of his native languages of German, the actor, and speaking a fake language as if it's his native tongue, and then Star Wars English. And he gets that raw emotion, like, how can you even say these words now? How can you even believe these words? Like, are you mad? It's just incredible. That guy's performance is phenomenal. And I said that in like the first episodes, the Ghorman episodes in Arc 2, I kind of noticed this guy's really great. He speaks really clearly, really beautifully. His accent is beautiful. His like accented English, his Ghorman accent is beautiful. And just seeing it in that episode where he's in the town square and he's speaking in Ghorman to Enza, who comes to him, and he's speaking. You can hear the desperation in his voice, and I love it. I love his performance. He is one of my favorite actors in this, besides a couple of the main characters. He has been phenomenal. I thought, oh, he's probably a French actor, and that's why maybe the French constructed Ghorman language, is more similar to him. And then, like, his English as a second language sounds French Ghorman. But no, he's a German actor speaking French Ghorman natively in the show, and English, as a second language, both show and real life. And that is coming across. And again, this maybe is a hard concept and maybe you have never experienced this if you haven't like lived or been around people who, speak English as a second language. But I just think it's beautiful, and I think that it enhances his performance to see him speaking as a second language speaker. I think it just is beautifully enhancing his performance. I am enthralled with this guy's performance. It is magnificent. And on another character note, amazing performance. This guy, he takes it to 11. Performance 120%. Like, he gives everything. There's his anger is boiling up. He can't even contain it. His face is like writhing with the frustration and anger at what's going on. He's trying to comply with the Imperial order, but he can't get through the door. He can't shut it down right. It's hilarious, and it is just like awesome to see this side character just gives so much performance. It is fantastic. I also love that guy's performance for how short it was. And the next character that I think is fantastic is the other Ghorman hotel worker who speaks with Cassian in the second arc when he comes there pretending to be the designer, and he recognizes Cassian in this arc. And I just love the tone with which he speaks. Again, it is that accented second language spoken thing that you really get. Such authenticity, and to see such intensity in such a subtle and short space of time. He gets it across. I get that deeper, more personal intensity that is being conveyed through that second language use and that accent. I just really love it. I absolutely love it.